Once upon a time, there was a man named Paul who lived in a small town. Paul had a very special job. He was a professional coffee taster. Yes, that might sound exciting, but in reality it meant that he went to a cafe every day to taste different types of coffee and report on them. One day, Paul decided he needed to bring some excitement into his life. He had the brilliant idea to hold a competition. Who can brew the strongest coffee? He invited all the cafes in town, and the anticipation was high. On the day of the competition, the cafe was packed. The participants had brought their best beans and secret recipes. Paul sat down at a table, ready to taste the different coffees. The first coffee was so strong that he felt like his eyes were about to pop out. "Wow, that's like a slap in the face!" he exclaimed, and everyone laughed. The next coffee was so bitter that Paul almost cried. "Paul, I think I just drank an old shoe," he joked. The crowd burst into laughter. Finally, the last coffee arrived, and the barista was very proud of it. "Barista, this is the strongest coffee in the world," he announced. Paul took a sip, and his eyes widened. "Paul, I feel like I could run a marathon right now, or climb the walls." At that moment, disaster struck. Paul, overmotivated by the coffee's power, jumped up and ran to the door. He really wanted to explore the town, but he hadn't considered that he was in a cafe. He ran straight into the glass front and made a spectacular crash. The people in the cafe held their breath, then laughter erupted. Paul stood up, dusted himself off, and shouted, "Paul, that was the best coffee ever!" At the end of the day, Paul was not only crowned the coffee king of the town, but also the best comedian, because no one could laugh at his coffee catastrophes like he could. And so Paul lived happily and energetically, at least until the next coffee competition.